Chimamanda has given us so many beautiful works, but personally, I think Notes on Grief is her most powerful work. And there is something about the way she bears herself open that is a little intimidating as well as endearing. And if you have grieved before, you can relate with the kind of person she becomes in this book. Hi guys, welcome to Roving Three Books, and today I'll be reviewing Notes on Grief by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Let's get into it. It was in the COVID year that Chimamanda lost her father, and around that time many people were losing loved ones. Although her father didn't succumb to COVID, it was to kidney disease, but did not make it any less painful. And one of the first lessons you learn in this book is that grief is a cruel kind of education. It teaches you things not only about yourself but about the world you never really knew, you didn't pay attention to. Because now you're grieving, you have to like see these things, and you're going to have to, these are truths you have to accept by yourself. Another thing that she points out that I found to be very, I don't even have the word to describe it, was that age, love and age don't have anything to do with each other. So a person can live for 150 years, and when the person dies, people are going to mourn the person. And the person can live for a day and it's still going to be the same thing. And the person can live for 150 years, 200 years, and nobody's going to mourn the person. Why? Because of the impact, because of love, because how deep love can be. And we see that people tell her to celebrate the loss of her father because he was an old man. And she's like, there is a void inside of her because she has lost this man and you're telling her to celebrate it. How does that make sense? She goes further to tell us that there are certain parts of herself that she may never recover because these are only parts that could be accessed by her father. Like there's a particular way she laughs that only her father makes her laugh that way. And now all of that is gone. And you're telling her that he's old, so you should not take it to heart. You should let it go. I mean, and another thing she says is sometimes when we have no grief, we say things to people that are grieving, and when they say it back to us, we realize that try, really no try, really no try. So, when she was grieving the loss of her father, someone sent her a page from one of her books. I think it was in Half of a Yellow Sun, where it says grief is a celebration of love. And she looks at the line, and it feels like you have betrayed yourself because you were the one that wrote this. But now that you're reading what you have written, it doesn't comfort you. It just feels very strange. Because yes, you have loved, but this is a painful departure. This is someone you will never see again, someone you will never speak to again, and you're asking me to celebrate that. Why? How should I do that? Yeah, it's very hard to do that. So when she sees that, it just takes her back. Like I said, it makes Chimamanda very bare. She tells us parts of herself. Like I remember when I read the part where she said they broke the news to her, like she fell apart. She completely fell apart. She fell apart so bad that her daughter, because at the time she had just a daughter, her daughter at that time was shocked by the kind of person she was seeing before her because this is my mommy. I've never seen my mommy be this way. Her mom had to change because of grief. And I've seen some people who say they're dealing with grief and they find the book so hard to continue with because it points it's like you're looking at yourself grieving and it's painful. It's very honest, it's very naked, it's very bare. So I think it's her most powerful book. There's a way I know it's non-fiction, right? So maybe that's why I have the tendency to do that. But Chimamanda is a very talented writer. I mean, if you've read Purple Hibiscus, Half of the Yellow Sun, American, her other books, you realize that there is a way she paints these stories that make it look like you are living in it. So when we read of her father's life, we are welcome to a part of his life in a sense. There's a scene where she tells of how Nigeria has betrayed her father and where he was kidnapped. Now this was a little funny to me when I read it at the time. And the Nigerian government did nothing. But they realized that he was a citizen of another country. So they appealed to the country where he was a citizen of, and that's how they were able to rescue her father. Do you see how funny it is? Her father was kidnapped in Nigeria. The Nigerian government did nothing about it. But because he was a citizen of another country, the other country was able to orchestrate his escape from the kidnappers. Then do you see how little Nigeria there is our lives? And he was not even an ordinary man, right? He was a professor. He was someone that was valuable to the nation. I know some people are like, oh, maybe he was the kind of man that used to mind his business. His own is just his family and all that. But he wasn't. He was someone who was giving back to society. Was he the Nigerian government decided to repay him? That's the story for many people. That's what many people go to bed with every day, knowing that the Nigerian government has failed them. But luckily, they didn't have to live with that. I think one thing that makes this a very beautiful book was the conclusion where she said she's writing about her father in the past tense. She cannot believe she's writing about her father in the past tense. And that's a statement, that's a paragraph, that's a chapter, like just that statement. And the first time I read this, I didn't think much of it. But I think I was reading a review somewhere and someone made mention of it and I actually paused and said, wow, she does make wonders of English language. You know the thing that Chinua actually said that what Nigerian intends to do with English language. I can't remember the word to word, but yeah. So it just shows that Nigerians can be very talented writers because that statement alone was the perfect close for the book. So I recommend Notes on Grief to people who are grieving, people who can make sense of grief, people who have grief. And pretty much to everybody because one way or another, is either we're going to grieve, we're going to be grieved. So yes, and that's all for me. Bye.